How's it going, Dave here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to play this little tune. I'm going to be breaking down the finger picking pattern, and I'm also going to show you the chords that I used and the reasoning behind them. But first, you can get the tabs at my Patreon page. There you can support the channel for as little as $2 a month. And also, if you want to learn how to create some chord progressions like I did here, then check out the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, which you can get for absolutely free. That's down in the description. It will show you how to write a chord progression with the 7 diatonic chords. And then after that, it will show you how to add extensions like 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, and 13ths to your chords to make them sound jazzy and sophisticated. So let's get started. So the finger picking pattern is fairly simple. So our thumb is playing the bass notes, and that can move between the A string and the low E string. And then our index finger will always play the D string. Our middle finger will always play the G string. Our ring finger will always play the B string, and our little finger will always play the high E string. So let's break down what I've done here. So we're playing thumb on the low A string, and we're playing a G major 7 chord. So that's 10 on the A, 12 on the D, 11 on the G, and 12 on the B, and 10 on the high E as well. So we're playing thumb on the A, then index finger on the D, then middle finger on the G, then ring finger on the B. Pretty easy so far. Then we're moving our thumb to the low E string and playing the 10th fret. Then we are moving to the 7th fret of the low E string, and we're barring that on all strings, and we're placing our middle finger on the 8th fret of the G string and our ring finger on the 8th fret of the B string, and we're doing this. So what we're doing there is we're playing the low E string with our thumb, then we're playing the D string, G string, B string, and E string, so we're just ascending the strings. So we're using index, middle, ring, little, and then coming back down again. Ring, middle, index. And that's the entire picking pattern. Then we move to an E minor 7 chord here. So that is 7 on the A, 9 on the D, 7 on the G, and 8 on the B, and 7 on the high E as well. And we just do the same picking pattern, but then the bass note moves to the 7th fret of the low E string. Then we move to an A minor 9 chord, which is barring the 5th fret of all the strings and placing our little finger on the 7th fret of the high E string, and we're just going to go. So just like that. And then we're moving to a C minor chord, and we're just barring the 8th fret. That's all we need to do. And the same picking pattern applies, but our thumb now is placing the bass note on the low E string rather than the A string. So simple. Then we're playing the 11th fret of the low E string with our thumb again. Then we're playing this G13 chord. So what we need to do is bar the 10th fret, then place our middle finger on the 11th fret of the G string and our ring finger on the 12th fret of the B string, and play that second part of the picking pattern. Just like that. Now we play the entire thing again, but instead of playing the G13 chord, we're going to play an F7 chord, which is 8 on the A string, 10 on the D string, 8 on the G string, 10 on the B string, and 8 on the high E string. So the second time round, the ending is like just like that. And then we finish on the G major 7 chord again. So practice that, start off slowly with a metronome and build up the speed. And the great thing with this picking pattern is that you can apply it to your own chord progressions. This chord progression was just something I came up with that suits the picking pattern quite well. So let's quickly take a look at the chords that I used and why I used them. So we are going from a G major 7, we're playing in the key of G, so that's our 1 chord, so it makes sense to start on that. Then we're moving to a B7 sharp 5. This is an altered chord, and what we're doing there is we're using it as a secondary dominant leading into our E minor 7 chord. If you don't know what a secondary dominant is, I've made a video on secondary dominants which you can check out. But basically, a secondary dominant is just like how our 5 chord in our key goes to our 1 chord. We're using a secondary dominant to act as a 5 chord into another chord in our chord progression. So B is the 5 of E, so we're playing B7 sharp 5 into E minor. Then we're moving to chord number 2 in our key, which is A minor. And I love to use that 9th there at the top. It sounds really nice. Then we're moving to C minor, and this is all I'm doing here is I'm just borrowing a chord from G minor, the key of G minor, and that's called modal interchange. And I've done a video on modal interchange too, which you can check out. It's a cool kind of chord substitution we can use. I just thought it sounds quite nice off of that A minor, and I made it a C minor 9 as well. You can do that. Then the G13 is our dominant chord, so that leads very nicely back into our G major 7. Then we start again, and then at the end, instead of playing that G13, I play an F7. And this is called a backdoor dominant. And a backdoor dominant basically is kind of like a non-functioning dominant chord, but it still leads nicely into our 1 chord again. If you've done 2-5-1 progressions before, you'll realize that the C minor into the F7 acts like a 2 and a 5, and instead of going to what the 1 would be is B flat, we're just going into our G again. And that sounds quite spicy and switches things up a little bit. It's a bit different from what you're usually used to hearing. Over the chord progression, you're going to want to use the G major scale, and over that B7 sharp 5, you want to use the B altered scale. Over the C minor chord, you want to use the G minor scale, and over that F7 chord, the F Lydian dominant scale is a really good choice. Anytime there's a dominant chord that doesn't function as a dominant chord, so from a 5 to a 1, the Lydian dominant scale is a really good scale to use. That is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and learn that picking pattern. Try and use that chord progression in other things as well, and try improvising over it too. If you enjoyed the video, click like, let me know what you thought in the comments. If you've got any suggestions for videos, let me know in the comments too, and subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. And also go down into the description, check out the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, which you can get for free. That will show you how to write some very spicy chord progressions, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.